Coming up in the morning edition, sad news as the corporation loses one of its staples. The Deputy Prime Minister has his say on Frederick McAlpine. And it's Wednesday. Time to go down to Grand Bahama. Welcome to the morning edition. I'm Keisha Adderley. Thanks so much for waking up with us this morning. We start things off today with a check of your weather forecast. Let's get straight to it with Chief Meteorologist Basil Dean. Is sponsored by Bank of the Bahamas, the bank of solutions.
Good morning, Keisha, on this sad morning at the Broadcasting Corporation. Our ZNS Tower Camp picking up some great skies overlooking the entrance to Nassau's Harbor. And as we go to our satellite picture, the tropics remain quiet, but we have a pretty active tropical wave near Hispaniola. That's going to generate some showers over the southeast Bahamas later on today. Meanwhile, mid to upper level trough across the northwest Bahamas will also support showers and thunderstorms throughout today. Outside of our studios, we're having some light rain showers. Temperature at 82 degrees, relative humidity 83%, south-southeast winds at 9 miles per hour, the barometric pressure 1,000 at 17.1 millibars, that's 30.01 inches, and the pressure is steady. Temperatures around the islands this morning, picking up some 82s in Marsh, Abaco, also Green Toll Key, Freeport in Grand Bahama, 82 degrees, 83 in the Berry Islands, Alderstown, Bimini at 83, Harbour Island, Roxanne, Eleuthera, Alderstown, Cat Island, Stanley Key, Kemp Space, St. Andros, Fresh Creek and Central Andros, all at 82 degrees. More 82s in San Salvador and Rum Key as we take you into Georgetown, Exuma, 82 there as well. Ragged Island, Clarencetown, Long Island, Crooked Island, Betsy Bay, Acklands, Machitown, Inagua, and the Turks and Caicos Island, all registering 83 degrees at this hour. And your boating forecast for today in the northwest and central islands, a southeast flow at 10 to 15 knots, wave heights 2 to 4 feet over the ocean. Low tide takes place at 6:45 this morning. High tide will occur at 1:07 in the afternoon. And for the southeast Bahamas, the winds are a little stiffer out of the southeast at 12 to 18 knots, and the wave heights 3 to 6 feet. That's going to do it for your first look at weather in the morning edition. Stay tuned. Your forecast for today and tonight is still ahead.
Well, it's time now for a check of how things are looking out there on the streets as you get ready to start your commute for the morning. Let's check in with our Kelsey Johnson.
The traffic report is sponsored by Bahamas First. First in insurance, today, tomorrow.
Well, now to our top story. The Broadcasting Corporation of the Bahamas in mourning today as we mourn the sudden passing of Assistant General Manager of Television and Parliamentary Channel, Mr. Colin Trotman. ZNS News learned of the passing of Mr. Trotman early this morning. Mr. Trotman dedicated his life to his work here at the Broadcasting Corporation, playing an instrumental role over the many years in television and Radio Bahamas, as well as the Parliamentary Channel. On behalf of the Executive Chairman, Board of Directors, Management, and in the entire staff of the corporation, the management has sent sincere condolences to Mr. Trotman's family at this time of bereavement, and he will be sorely missed. Well, East Grand Bahama Member of Parliament Peter Turnquest has commented on apparent discord among members of the party's Pine Ridge constituency. Apparently, some sectors have called for Mr. McAlpine's removal. We asked Mr. Turnquest about the conflict and its resolution.
The party has a constitution which we govern by. The constituency has made their views known. And of course, they have a right to do that. And there are procedures in which they would follow if they are serious about calling for the Member of Parliament to resign from the party. And he will then have a process, or there's a process that the party goes through to decide whether they will act on that recommendation from the constituency, and the process goes from there. The constituents are the ultimate deciders of who represent them, who they want to represent them, and that process works its way up through the party. And again, we are committed to democracy and to ensuring that the person that is selected in any constituency to represent the people actually do represent the people.
Co-chair of the National Trafficking in Persons Task Force, Adrian Strawn, is advising Bahamians and residents to be aware of the dangers of human trafficking. He said trafficking in persons includes sexual exploitation, forced labor, domestic servitude, or forced begging. He said migrants, persons who are unemployed, or persons living in poverty can become victims if they're not aware. He advised persons who feel that they are victims of trafficking or suspect that someone else is to contact the national hotline at 322-2763 or police at 911.
Where you're recruited by deceitful means. They offer you a job, they offer you housing, accommodations, and everything, and they promise you, okay, good, well, you'll be paid a certain amount of monies to perform this particular job, when in actuality, the job that they offered you a job as a waitress or as a housekeeper or some domestic worker, only to realize when you arrive in the Bahamas, now listen, you're not going to do that kind of work. Lavish job that you thought you would have had, and the monies that you thought you would have made to help your family wherever, be it here in the Bahamas or outside of the Bahamas, it's a totally different world.
Well, the crawfish season is underway and fishermen are gearing up with what they hope will be a profitable catch this season. Boat captain Melvin Maycock is excited.
Like 8 coolers. We've been out to sea a day and a half to catch them.
What about the weather conditions? Was it rough at sea? How was it out there?
No, the weather condition was awesome, good.
Well, on to other news. We are going to take a break now, and then we'll take a trip down to Grand Bahama. All of that and more when the morning edition returns.
I watch the morning edition because I want to know what's going on in my country.
Well, it's time to take it north to Grand Bahama, where a chess team has recently returned home after a successful run. Here's Megan Shepard.
Of the A Step Ahead Chess Club hanging out recently after a successful trip to the state of California. Founder coach Sean Sorsby says that every year the group continues to get better and better. But Sorsby is emphasizing that although the students did an excellent job during tournament play, he strongly believes that the life experience garnered during the trip is most important.
I think what I'm most proud of about that trip is how our young people did. So we had 4 new players, had never played in a rated tournament, much less an international tournament. And I like to say that we lost KD and Clay. So we had 2 of our top players who couldn't make the trip, but our young players stepped up like big time. So they all got wins and helped us win a 3rd place trophy. But we like to say, it's not just about the trophies, even though the trophies are getting bigger and bigger each trip. It's not the size of the trophy, it's really the depth of the experience that we're having.
Club members Brianna Bowe and Quentin Lavardi say they had an amazing time exploring various historic and developing organizations in California.
Last time I only won one game, and this time I won 2. And we got to explore Stanford University. We got to experience Mechanic Institute, the oldest chess club.
My experience in California was very nice. I found it good to go to a different place and find different experiences. I enjoyed playing chess with other people from different cultures. and it was a good experience overall.
Travis Forbes adds that he felt particularly inspired after visiting 2 of the stops on the trip, and he's already planning his future career.
We went to Stanford University, and I learned a lot at Stanford because, well, I might want to go to Stanford from all I learned. And we also went to the Monarch Hotel, which was a nice place to stay. It was a pretty good experience, and we got to play lots of good opponents during the tournament and learned so much from what we played. And we also went to Google, which was really fun, seeing all that they did and how it worked. I want to be an engineer, so that personally was a highlight for me.
A Step Ahead Chess Club is open to all students across the island. Megan Shepard, ZNS Network News.
Dr. Tamalia Gibson and her husband Marvin are attempting to find light in a dark place after suffering 3 miscarriages. In her new book, Power in Peace, she details how she found happiness following these complications.
When are you going to have a child? It's time for you and your husband to have a little one. You're getting old now. Time for a baby. These questions and more cut deeper than a knife. It's a piercing feeling that sometimes leaves you empty inside, a hole that brings on a sense of embarrassment and hopelessness. For Dr. Tamalia Gibson and her husband Marvin, there was more to it than what meets the eyes.
So you can imagine being a newlywed, very new to marriage, dealing with all the adjustments of marriage, but also going through 3 miscarriages, 3 losses, while also people asking, well, remember y'all have children? You know, Bahamians like to ask, when y'all gonna have some children? I want to see some children. So it was very challenging. And then also to add to that, Marvin and I had been robbed by gunpoint twice within a matter of a month. So it was just a lot that was going on. But the thing I realized about life is that life throws you unexpected things. Things happen in life, challenges happen, but it's really what keeps you is your peace.
And if the miscarriages weren't enough to plunge the newly married couple into a deep depression, it sure was a reason used by others to commit adultery, spark unwarranted arguments, or leave the female, in particular, feeling less than a woman. For Marvin Gibson, this is the time when the man steps up and protects his queen and truly becomes the head of the household.
As a man, I felt as though I had to be the strong one during these challenging moments, but I also had a difficulty being able to express my emotions. Of course, I had disappointments. Of course, I had concerns and those sort of things, but I didn't want to express them outwardly because I felt like I had to be strong for my wife.
After turning to God for guidance, love, and understanding, Dr. Tamalia Gibson penned her hurt, writing a book she hopes will inspire, encourage, educate, and motivate couples, especially women who have suffered a similar ordeal. It's her second book, entitled Power of Peace. It will be launched on August 16th.
You can lose the job, you can lose the house, you can lose the man, you can lose the woman. But one thing you shouldn't lose is your peace. And it's really the peace that kept me during the challenges and many more other life challenges, but during those trying times, it's peace that really helps you to get through. So I penned this book to really talk about, how do people have peace? First of all, what is peace? And talking about the steps to how you can have peace in your life. And I think that this book is definitely for everybody because everyone has something in their life that they're dealing with, whether it's a relationship issue, whether it's a financial issue, whether it's a health problem that you're having, you have something that you need to hold on to your peace. So this book explains how to hold on to your peace.
Even though the couple could ask people not to pry into their personal affairs, instead, they give of themselves. Kelsey Johnson, ZNS Network News.
Well, the Gibsons talk about finding peace this morning, and that's where we find ourselves this morning as we remember Colin Trotman
Brother Colin,
Jr.
We spend so much time here at the corporation. Everybody's here. It's like family. It's like losing a father, losing a brother. I know once the staff gets in later on today, it's going to be a very emotional day, so please keep ZNS in your prayers.
Hard to imagine him not walking through the door. That's what I said when I walked in and found out.
We're so used to seeing Colin. When you and I got here to the corporation many years ago, he was a big figure here, and he still is. And to sit down in the back of the yard and watch him walk through, and then he'll say them little sly remarks and then go upstairs and hail everybody. I know everybody's going to miss the big Colin Trotman.
Definitely. Well, stay tuned. Sports news is up next.
Good morning, everybody. Welcome to Sports Wednesday. Let's see if we can get through this. The Pan Am Games over there in Lima, Peru. Track and field and swimming in full competition. Stay tuned to the radio network and we'll have all the results for you. But last night over at the Kendall G.L. Isaacs Gymnasium, the Bahamas Basketball Federation's Summer Thunder Series bouncing right along. Bahamian teams able to win just one game so far. But let it be known that they are going up some of the best teams from the United States. Last night, Delaware starting their tour off with a 99-72 beatdown of Raw Talent, and Temple finishing their run 3-0, taking down Bahamas Select 88-74. BBF President Mario Boleg pleased with the level of play from both sides of the ocean.
All right, well, you know, the Summer Thunder, we are in about 12 years anniversary, and this year we have some top-notch teams here in Memphis. We got Georgetown, Texas Tech, Temple, Murray State, Furman, Chattanooga, just to name a few. We want the Bahamian fans to come on down and see. This is all about giving our Bahamian basketball players that exposure to play up against these top-notch Division I basketball teams, where some of these players are the future #1 draft picks, NBA players to come. And, you know, when you look at the level of coaching and play right here from the Division I teams, we ask that our high school coaches would bring their high school teams and come and see what level their players need to get at to play at this level.
Now, pro ball player Jerron Keena Burris doing some coaching in the Summer Thunder with his developmental program, Raw Talent. He's changed teams this offseason and ready for the new challenge.
Well, last year was tough for me. I finally made it all the way up to the top league in France. Worked my whole career to get there, and then in January I got injured and had surgery. So now I signed to a good team back in the second league, and as anything, you got to go prove yourself over and over again, and I'm ready to take the challenge.
Now, the tournament continues this evening over at the Kendall G.L. Isaacs Gym. And don't forget as well, our Pan Am swimmers will be in the pool today. They have the 4x100-meter freestyle mixed relays. And on the track today, Padrea Seymour and Devin Charlton in the semifinals of the 100-meter hurdles. And also, Ken Mullings, he's in 5th place in the decathlon, looking to make up some ground, some 356 points behind the leader with just 5 more events to go. Well, that's going to do it for sports. I'm Charles Fisher. Enjoy your day.
In our final look at weather in the tropics, we have a tropical wave near Hispaniola, and that will bring some showers and thunderstorms to the southeast Bahamas during the course of the day. Mid to upper level trough over the northwest Bahamas will also support showers and thunderstorms during the course of the day. Some of those showers could be heavy at times, particularly around the Abacos and the Grand Bahama area. Forecast for today call for some morning showers and thunderstorms, turning partly sunny in the afternoon. High temperature getting up to 89 degrees, and that heat index is going to be somewhere around 106 degrees. Temperature profile looking like this. Steady climb right into the midday hour, and we should peak out at about 89 degrees around 3 o'clock this afternoon. Tonight, patchy clouds, a shower or thunderstorm still in the area. Low temperature getting down to 79 degrees. And your extended weather forecast, a few showers off and on into Friday. Things drying out quite nicely on Saturday. The early part of next week looks pretty nice as we anticipate a lot more sunshine in our forecast. But those temperatures, well, they continue to remain summer-like with those 90s.
Right. But there's definitely a change in the weather, to put things figuratively here at the corporation, as we mourn and I guess also celebrate the life of Colin Trotman Jr., who passed away last evening. I know that when I think about Colin, I remember this funny little story. We used to have those radio sets in the news vans, and someone joked that anytime you turn one of those on and say, come in, Colin was sure to answer, because that's how available he was, and just always, you know, attached to the corporation in some way, always on the ready, always available, always dedicated.
Barbara?
Well, we're certainly going to miss him, but his death reminds us that the only certainty in life is that one day life will come to an end, and that just was a reminder for us here this morning. So we extend our condolences to the Trotman family.
And after seeing him sit down to the breakfast table yesterday with our producer, Tanya Smith-Cartwright, now we knew that this morning we will be reflecting on the life of Colin Trotman.
An absolute shock. As we extend condolences to his family today and begin what will be an extended period of tribute to our fallen colleague, Mr. Colin Trotman. Good morning, everyone.